What up, everyone? So, it is time for the monthly review. And this is the monthly review for the month of May, actually. So, we're way into June now, almost into July. And you know, the problem boils down to one box. It's Comic Block. The box comes so unbelievably late, I wouldn't even say each month because it comes well into the next month. Most of these other boxes all arrive around the same time, and I want to do a monthly review, but I kind of can't until Comic Block gets here, or else I'm leaving it out. So I'm honestly thinking about canceling it, or just leaving it out for that fact, because it's so unbelievably late. It shouldn't matter too much, though. It's just weird that everything comes around that month, and then Comic Block comes like 3 weeks into the following month. It just doesn't seem to make sense at all. So it shouldn't really matter, though, because the whole point of this video, for anyone who's new, is just to help you find the best monthly subscription box for you. And I always try to do individual reviews. Haven't had a lot of time lately, so I want to try and get back into that as well, because I know there's a lot of special boxes coming up in June and talk about it then. So most of my reviews, it doesn't really matter that they're late, because what we're going to talk about here is more about each company, what they offer, what you can expect from the box, and if it hits your particular interest or if it's something you might be interested in. I always put them in order from the ones I think the majority of people would like the most and majority of people would dislike the most, but you know, that's just me trying to do the best I can. Overall, it's just to give you a brief description of each box, of that company, what you can expect from it, so it's just an easy way to try and decide which box is best for you, because there's so many of them out there. So I just try to compile one video, and I update it each month because the boxes change so often, but excuse me. It really shouldn't matter what time it goes out because, you know, overall the companies are about the same. So this month I actually only have 7 boxes, a really small month. I've weeded out a lot of them. So keep in mind that the boxes I have are, in my opinion, and most other people's, the best of the best. So there's tons of boxes out there, and I've tried pretty much all of them at one point, but usually none of them stick around because it's just not worth the time, it's not worth the money. So this is the best of the best. And these are the ones that have stuck around over time, so I've narrowed it down a bit. But as always, if there's anything you'd like to see, company you'd like to see a review of, let me know in the comments, anything like that, and I'll try to get to it whenever I have time. One other thing, I do a monthly giveaway every single month. If you want to be entered into it, all you have to do is copy a link from the channel or any video, post it somewhere on social media, and then send me the link to your post. I usually announce the winner right now, but I had kind of a double giveaway last month, and I think it got confusing because I did the whole birthday guessing thing, which everyone did, and then the rest of the contest continued about the posting links, but no one entered it. So I think people forgot that it was continuing. But so we'll just start it again this month. If you want to be entered into it, post a link, and your name will be thrown into a hat. Feel free to post as many links as you'd like. Send me it in a private message or in a comment. Either way, you'll be entered into a giveaway, and I'll send you a box full of special stuff just for you. So, without any further ado, let's get into these reviews. I'll try the best I can with this puppy here. So we'll go 1 through 7, 7 to 1, and we'll talk a little bit about that company and give a brief description on what you can expect from that company so you can get a good idea if that box might be particularly for you. So, starting with number 7. And number 7 is Comic Block. Boom. And yes, it actually arrived like that. Like someone just kicked the shit out of my box. Literally kicked a hole in it. So this box is, obviously you can guess, is mostly based around comic books. And they usually give one alternate item. This time we got 2 of them. So they have, the good news about it is they've now gone to giving exclusive covers for comic books, which I've requested from them for a very long time. The problem with this box is we usually get very obscure comics. And that's kind of what's expected from this company because, do you want to get down? Because it's hard to get exclusive covers from the popular ones. We actually got some semi-popular ones this one. We got Guardians of the Galaxy and Secret Empire, which actually were joining covers. They actually joined for one picture, so I was pretty surprised on that, so that was kind of cool. And the other ones were not that well known. We got New Humans and Stained, which I had never heard of. And then we always get a shirt, and then we usually get one alternate collectible. But here was the problem with it. The collectibles in here, it's basically a problem of quality. Got it? Okay. Pup sleep. He's too tired. Taking a nap. So it was a problem of quality with the items. And one of the items was a whiskey glass. And we were supposed to get one before, but it ended up not showing up. There's a whole problem last month with it. But honestly, we get a lot of cups from the comic block company, or Nerd Block company. We get a lot of cups. It's almost every single box we get some kind of cup in there. And it's like, that's fine, cups are useful, but they need a little more variety. And the problem with it is whiskey glasses are fine, but and it looked cool because it had the Justice League on there, so it's a cup, it's very useful, but the problem was it's plastic. And that's where it's a quality thing, because I know it costs more for glass, but if they're going to call it a whiskey tumbler, it kind of needs to be made of glass. No self-respecting man is going to be drinking any whiskey out of a plastic cup. That's just weird. It doesn't make sense. If they called it a sippy cup, then I'd be like, fine, plastic, no problem. But they're trying to pass it off as a whiskey tumbler, and it's not if it's made out of plastic. And you know, at the end of the day, it's still a cup, but the problem is, with a cup that size, it's usually for like mixed drinks or something like that, because it's smaller, and again, it's weird if you're drinking out of a plastic cup. It just seems odd, and I can't imagine anyone wanting to use that. They would use a glass one. If it was a bigger one, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, but that's where I mean quality. And the same thing, they got bookends in there as well. Little Justice League bookends. Look like that. And again, it looks cool at first, and then open it up, and they're plastic as well. So bookends are usually metal or polystone, because they need to be heavy, because they have to hold things. That's the whole point of the bookends. They need weight to them. But these were made of plastic, so they're going to have trouble holding any books in place, and also, it's just a quality thing. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good, so the quality is just not there. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy they're putting in other stuff, like more collectibles, and not as much comics, so that's still cool. They're giving some variety, but the quality is just not really there. So that's what you can expect from this company. A lot of comics, lesser known comics, and then some collectibles which haven't really been good. And they did the little bombshells were for like 3 months in a row, and those were really great. They were exclusive and they were really awesome, but that was the only time I really saw anything interesting as far as collectibles from that company. Other than that, it's been some just poor choices, low in quality, and a lot of comic books that most people haven't heard of. Every once in a while we'll get one that's cool, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we also got the Power Rangers Justice League before. So you can expect one cool one here and there, but it's not worth getting the whole box for just like one book. So it's been lower on the countdown, as have most of the Nerd blocks, and that's kind of why. Not that it's bad or anything like that, it's still cool, but it's just they haven't been putting in a lot of effort into their boxes as of late. So moving on to number 6. On with that, classic Nerd block. Now this is one I've kept around for a really long time, because this has been here since day one, since I very first started the channel, my very first unboxing ever. It's been here, and I've always wanted to keep it around because it's very eclectic, and it's always been decent. But it's honestly never been fantastic. And Nerdblock has so many different options of boxes, but again, they just doesn't feel like they've really been putting in quality. I feel like they've lost a lot of partnerships they've had with companies, and they haven't been putting in as good of items. Because they had some partnerships for a while, so they got some cool exclusives, but lately we haven't been getting a lot of them. So again, we got a cup. Again, we got a little Deadpool cup and coaster set, which is cool, but it's like, dude, enough with the fucking cups, man. Like, we have so many cups from this company. Like, how many cups does any one person need, or even a group of people? It's weird when cups aren't in a set, and it's hard to put them somewhere, especially mugs and stuff like that. Eventually, it's hard to put so many cups if they're not stackable or something like that. It's still a cool cup, but there was nothing horribly interesting about it. It's Deadpool's face, and it's like, okay, that's fine. Useful, practical, everything. Just wasn't, it's not that creative, there's not that much thought put into it, and it's a cup. And then we got a magnet, a pin, and we also got a business card holder, so, which is cool and all, but again, it's a little bit limited. Not most people, I wouldn't say most people, a lot of people don't have business cards. This is considered for all ages, so I know a lot of people wouldn't have business cards, and if they did, I don't know, it's a, what is it? I don't know if it's from Jessica Jones. I don't know if they want someone else's name on their business card holder, so it's a little weird. And the shirt was average. It's just a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt. So, again, stuff in here is fine, but there's just not a lot of variety to the stuff. It's a lot of common stuff, and it's still worth the money at the end of the day, but not a bunch worth the money. They're not getting very close to double the value anymore. They've always given around that $40, $50 range, which is good, but it's hard to nail down like who this is for. Obviously, comic block for comic book people, horror block, sci-fi block, so on and so forth. This one's kind of a mix of stuff, but it just seems like random stuff. They don't really stick to like specific themes that much, and it's just, you know, it just really isn't anything special. So this one may not end up sticking around either. So it's still worth it if you like it, if you just want to try it out. It's $30 for the box, and you usually get around $50 worth of value. So it's fine. Nothing bad about it, no complaints or anything. It just really doesn't stand out. It's really not cutting its own niche into the market, and it's not standing out in any way. And it seems like they're putting in less and less effort, and it's slowly just kind of fading away with the time. So that's kind of the sum up of the Nerd Block Company. And I've gotten all their boxes at one point, every single one they offer at one point, and it's mostly the same thing. Every once in a while, one of the boxes will do good one time because they'll get something cool, but I honestly haven't heard anything good from any of the boxes in months. These are the last two I have. I used to get the Gamer Block, I used to get Sci-Fi Block. They just never really did anything amazing. They were always worth it, they were always okay, but it was never anything special, and I haven't heard a single good thing about them in so long. So there's that. Alright, number 5. We got the Star Wars Smuggler's Bounty. So this was a special box. This one is very predictable. And as in, you always know what you're going to get. And you know, some people like that, and some people don't like that. I always thought that was a bad thing, that companies don't give very much variety. But some people actually like that. They like knowing exactly what they're going to get every month, and you know, it's just personal preference, whatever you like. This box almost always will give you 2 pop figures, a shirt, and then patch and a pin, and then 1 alternate item. Sometimes it's a lanyard, on occasion it's a Hikari figure, so it's pretty much only that one variable, and obviously the characters and pictures change, and that's pretty much it. On a rare occasion, we'll get one like this, where it's a deluxe pop or a pop ride. We got Han Solo on the Tauntaun, and this is Luke in the Land Speeder. So this one is special in the fact that they give those, so that's pretty much the only variety we ever see, though. And maybe they'll do more of that, because I think it was really popular. Same with the Tauntaun. But who knows? It's pretty much always that. If not 2 pops, it's 1 deluxe one. But the problem with this is when they give the deluxe one, everything else in the box kind of suffers. It just wasn't... Let me see if I have the description card in here. Everything else was just kind of there. It just was filler beyond that. You still get the patch and the pin, and then we got, I think, salt and pepper shakers. Forgot what I did with the description card, but yeah, so I still think the Land Speeder pop was cool and all. Same with the Tauntaun one, but it seems like the entire box was based around that, and the rest of it wasn't very well balanced. And if that's the case, then that's not really motivation to purchase that box. If there's only one core item in there that everyone wants, then people are just going to buy that item. The good news about it for the company, I guess, is that the deluxe pops are usually worth right around the same as the box. So so purchasing the box wouldn't really hurt or help, so the extra stuff is just kind of there. But you could also, you'd be just as fine not having to pay every single time and then just buying that item on your own. So that's why it gets lower on the countdown. And also that I personally don't like that there's not much variety. This box, if you wanted my opinion for who it's really for the hardcore Star Wars fan. So if you are absolutely obsessed with Star Wars, you love it, you love every single collectible they make, you want every collectible, then this is totally for you. If you just like Star Wars like me, but you're not like an absolute diehard fan, then I'd probably pass on this, because a lot of the figures in there are the more obscure characters, like characters that for one, like sometimes never had a name or never even mentioned in the movie. They're just seen at one time and they're in the box, and it's like you'd have to be a really hardcore fan to recognize every single character that's ever even been on the screen. So a lot of times they do some more obscure characters, because they only, the main ones like Luke, Han, and stuff like that have shown up once, maybe twice ever, and they do more of the obscure ones. So like I said, more for the hardcore. And I know they're going to make more and more movies, but again, each new movie only introduces so many characters, and they pretty much cover that in one box. This is bi-monthly, so there's only 6 of them a year, but again, it's just, I've never been impressed by it. I like the deluxe pops, I thought those were cool, but that's the most I could ever really say about this box. The rest of them were just very common. They were fine, they looked cool, but they just all looked like very average pops. There was nothing really special about them, nothing that really stood out. So it seems like that's the way to go for me, and I'll probably end up canceling this one because I'm getting plenty of the other Funko boxes as well. So yeah, I think I'm better off just if they come up with a deluxe pop, just purchasing that separately. Or honestly, you can always go back and purchase boxes. So that's the cool thing about the Funko boxes. You actually don't need to subscribe. You can wait and see if there's a good box, and if you want the entire box, you can just go buy it on their site. You don't have to subscribe, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. So it's funny that people resell these items for more than the box is worth when you can just go buy the box. Funko makes millions of these, literally, so they always have overstock. They're trying to sell it. Anytime you go to a convention, they have plenty of these boxes left from like the past year, so you can buy them for a long time after they're released. So honestly, that's what I'd recommend doing for a lot of people that are iffy about this box. Just go buy past ones. So only get this box and subscribe if you're a really, really hardcore diehard fan. But yeah, like I said, it got lower on the countdown because it was all centered around the one item, and it just, everything else was just kind of there. Alright, halfway point. We're down to the middle. So this is what, number 4. And that's the BAM box. One that I've always been a fan of, and that's because they really set themselves aside, which I really like. And for a person like me, which I realize everyone's not like, if you're getting a lot of collectibles, if you're getting a lot of boxes, what you really look for is variety. And not necessarily variety, but something that stands out, something that shows themselves in a group of boxes and says, like, hey, I'm different, this is why you should get me. Whether you like it or not, at least you know that that sets itself aside. It's not just a bunch of random stuff in there, like the Nerd Block Company. It's just kind of an assemblage of really common random stuff and a bunch of cups. So that's not what this is about. This is more about collectibles, and this is more about signature and artwork. So it's more, I guess, the more fine art of collecting. I would say high-end collectibles, but I don't think that's appropriate because not everything in there is worth a ton of money or anything, but it's more the fine art of it. And that's more like signatures and artwork, and that's the kind of stuff I like. So if you're interested in that at all, then this is definitely the box for you. This month most of the signatures we get aren't like super well-known people, but they're at least recognizable. They're all actors where you probably wouldn't know their name right off the top of your head, but if you saw the picture, you'd be like, oh yeah, I totally know that person. So it at least makes the signatures enjoyable. And this one was the voice of Yoda in the Clone Wars. So again, you probably couldn't name that person off the top of your head, but you obviously know Yoda, so it's someone recognizable. And we always get a piece of artwork in there, and it's not by the most well-known artist, but it's always by good artists, I'd say. But they're not like super popular most of the time, just because, you know, it's hard to get those really popular people to sign and number thousands of pieces of artwork. But you always get it, and it's always signed and numbered, which is really cool. Then we got a film cell in there, and we always get pins. They do a really good job on their pins. Those are really cool too. And then there's always a smaller stuff, like we get patches, like I said, the film cell. So basically what this box you can always expect is at least one pin, if not a couple of them, because they do a bunch each box. One pin, one signed something of like an actor or a voice actor, and then one piece of artwork that is also signed and numbered. And for those of you who don't know, that's where artwork gets the value. So some of these other boxes put artwork in there, but it's not signed or numbered, so it's literally just a piece of paper, and they're worthless. They're not worth any money. Until an artist signs or numbers it, and puts a limited run to it, the artwork's worthless. So they actually give value to their artwork. So that's what you can expect. A patch, or a pin, artwork, sign something, and then the other ones are variables. Like this one, we got a film cell and another patch, so it's usually stuff like that, smaller stuff that can fit in the box, but that's what I like it. I've gotten a lot of signatures from them, and they also have a variable thing, like 1 out of 10 boxes gets a special signature, and that's where you get ones that are by really famous people, really recognizable people. So that's really cool too, and I've gotten a few of those by very recognizable actors and actresses, so that's cool too, if not just for that, just the option of getting that. So if you stick with it, the chances are you're eventually going to get a really cool autograph from someone. So I always liked it. The only reason it gets a little lower on the countdown this month, it's variable. Like I said, the actor that they got was a voice actor, not super well known, so it's not worth a bunch of money. And the artwork they got in there was okay. It was from War of the Worlds. It's still cool, and it's signed and numbered, but, you know, it wasn't particularly fantastic, and sometimes it kind of depends. I'm sure it's very hard for them to find artists all the time, and the pin was just okay, too. I'm not super familiar with it, but I still thought they were cool. Then we got a patch, so nothing bad about it, but that's why it's right in the middle. So it's basically, it's just not for everyone based on this month. So it's kind of hard to give a solid opinion about it, because it just kind of depends on who they get, what artists they get, what actors or actresses they get to sign stuff. So It kind of depends, but it's one of those things where you can't go back and buy past boxes. They do have a limited number, they do, and they do specialty ones if you want to pay more for that. And they do have a decent referral program, so I'm always a big fan of this box, but this month in particular I don't think was particularly for everyone, but it kind of varies. This box jumps around a lot, so if you like more of the fine art collectibles, then I'd say this box is definitely for you. If you don't have a lot of money to spend, then maybe get one that's a little cheaper. So there we go. There's the BAM box. Alright, number 3. Let me pull out the description card. Oh, it's already up. Sorry. Number 3, Lootaku. Alright. So this one usually has very specific themes. So this is usually geared towards anime, and this is from Hong Kong, so it's usually things that are from Japan or China, which can be a good thing and it can be not so good. It just depends on your personal interest. The good thing is this box definitely sets itself aside too. The things that you get in this box you're not going to see in any other box. It's not common stuff. It's stuff that's very hard to find and very hard to come by, especially in America. And they're usually very specific with the theme, and you can pick and choose which ones you want. Like this one, the theme was One Piece. And before they had a theme that was Dragon Ball, and they had one that was Street Fighter. So it's very clear what the theme is, and it's very obvious what kind of stuff you're going to get, which I like. And that's what some people like. They like knowing what to get. Whereas some of these other boxes have very vague themes, like good versus evil or something like that, which could literally mean anything. So it's hard to say what's in there. But this one you know more specifically about what you're going to get. Now, I must admit that I haven't personally checked out One Piece. I know, shame on me. It looks awesome, I just haven't got around to it. So I probably didn't get to appreciate it as much as the average person. But here's what you can always expect from this company. They usually give like one statue, or like a figure that's usually very high-end. Much more high-end than you're going to see in any of these other boxes. Because that's kind of what like Asia is known for. Their collectibles are much more high-end. They're a lot less about giving out toys and little trinkets, and more about statues that are very detailed and don't really move, which I personally like. I like them for aesthetic purposes, so that's what I like. And this month was no exception. We got one, we got a statue of Luffy in there, and we got other stuff from One Piece, a hat, and other things like that. The only reason this box gets a little lower on the countdown, because it's gotten the #1 spot before, it just wasn't as high on the value as it has been in the past. The only downside to this box, it is very expensive. It ends up being around $60 to $65 after shipping and everything like that. So it is a very pricey box, but it's definitely worth it. You still definitely got your money. It ends up being a little, this month ended up being a little under $100. So you got like 50% more than you paid for, which is still really good considering. It just isn't as high as like a lot of these other boxes do give double the value. So it's a little hard to compete sometimes. And that's mostly the reason for that. I still liked everything in here. Everything had very good quality. And we got one of the WCF figures, which are always nice in quality. So the good thing is you get really good quality with this company. They always give well-made things that are like well picked out. And also the themes are very specific to like a genre or a show, so you know if you're going to like it or not. So that's always good too. And you're going to see more rare stuff. Most of these other boxes, the collectibles are almost always Funko, and that's fine, but you know, it gets a little tired after a while. So this does a lot more different eclectic companies that have really high-end stuff. So it's really good. So yeah, basically the only reason it's lower down is it just didn't get as high in the value as it normally does. No big deal, but that's really, if that's the only problem with the box, then I'd say go for it. So like I said, overall this box is known for anime and the anime genre, higher end collectibles, statues, bigger stuff like that. Very into the detail, but it's a little more expensive, but justifiably so, because you definitely get quality there. So there we go. Next, number 2, surprisingly, was Legion of Collectors. So I was pretty shocked by this as well. And this was a Wonder Woman box, which I gotta say I wasn't too excited for because I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman, and it also came out before the movie. But the movie did incredibly well. Pretty much everyone loved that movie, and everyone said it was probably the best DC movie out there, which honestly isn't saying much because all the other DC movies sucked. But yeah, it did well. It was a good movie. I liked it. Everyone else liked it, which again boosts the price of the collectibles. So the rarity of them, and not the rarity, but it boosts the price of them because now people want it. If people like something, if people like a movie, obviously they're going to buy that thing. If they hate the movie, then nobody's going to want it and everyone's going to try it and sell it. So the pop figure, the main Wonder Woman one, actually goes for a very high amount even to this day. This is almost a full month old. I think it is actually a full month old. And that Wonder Woman pop is still going for $45 to $50 for that one, which is pretty incredible. And I think that's mostly based on the movie because the movie was so popular. The pop was okay, it wasn't anything super special, but I think that was I think the movie really boosted the price of this box because at first, nothing was really worth that much, and then after the movie came out, people wanted to buy these things up. And the funny part about it is, like I said, people are trying to sell a pop for $45, $50, and people are paying that price, which is weird, because like I said, you can just go buy the box. Go on Funko's website, you can buy this box for $30 and get all the other stuff for free. But people are dumb, people are so stupid. So that's why I make this channel, to try and help you guys out, save you some money. So if you do want that pop figure, you don't want to spend $50, just go buy that box. That simple. So we got another pop figure in there from Dr. Maru. Am I saying that right? Maru. Anyway, that one, it goes for $20, no big deal. We also got a pint-sized hero, which I'm a big fan. I really like that, especially when they do the specialty ones in their own little package, so I thought that was cool. Then we got socks, patch, and pins, so that's pretty normal stuff there. Nothing big about it, but, you know, it was just such a popular movie, and I think everyone liked it, but it really boosted the value on this, which is rare for the Funko boxes these days. When Marvel Collector Corps first started, stuff was really expensive, but Funko is money hungry, so like I said, they literally make millions of these boxes every month, and the ones they don't sell in the subscription, they just sell on their website after the fact, or they take them to conventions and give discounts on them, so they really devalue their own product by making so many of them. But like I said, people are stupid. People are going on eBay and paying 40-something bucks for one pop figure instead of just buying the box, so I don't know what people are doing, but that really boosted the value, so that brought up the overall value of the box. But that's not normal for this company. I'm still going to keep this company around because I do like DC. I do like Funko, and there's a lot of characters they haven't really explored, so I'm still excited to see what they do with it. And I'm enough of a fan of DC where I do like some of the obscure characters, so I don't really mind it there either. And the box is honestly always worth the money. You never lose money from that company. You almost always get, like, not quite double the value, but pretty close to it, so it's always worth it. So that's a box I don't mind keeping the subscription around because I like pretty much everything in most of the boxes. And the things I don't are pretty easy to sell to those dum-dums that don't realize you can buy the box. And honestly, at that point, you can make a profit on this box. So, you know, that lesson learned, the world is stupid. You make money off other people's ignorance. Whatever. Anyway, number 1. Loot Crate. I have a description card for this lying around here somewhere. Maybe it's in the box. But yeah, this month did, there it is, really well. I really liked it. They did a lot of good stuff in here. And you know, it always isn't the best. They do have odd choices a lot, but the good news about this box is just so damn cheap, it's just really hard for them to go wrong. And in my opinion, this is one of the best monthly subscription boxes out there, and it kind of always has been. It's really one of the originals. I don't think it's the first company to ever do a monthly subscription box, but it's one of the first companies, so they've definitely been around a long time. They have a lot of partnerships with Quantum Mechanics, with Funko, with a lot of other companies out there, so they get exclusive stuff, and they do a good job. And there's usually only one item I really like in the box, but that always makes it worth it, because the box is only $20. They have an awesome referral program. Each person you refer, you get like $5 off, so it just makes it so incredibly cheap. Even if the box is horrible, you're just not risking that much money. So this, I would always say, is a good starter box for someone that's trying to get into the monthly subscription box game. This is always a good one to start with. It always has good, decent stuff, if not good stuff, and it's just so cheap that it's always worth it. The main item in here was the Quantum Mechanics. We got a Q-Pop or a Q-Fig, can't remember which one, but we got Rocket and Baby Groot, and it really was fantastic. I love Quantum Mechanics. I love Q-Figs. I think they do a really fantastic job, and the cool thing about it is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just came out, and this box came around the same time, but they always do a different rendition. It's not the movie version of Rocket. Quantum Mechanics is really good at doing their own version of these figures and statues, and they always give a little scenery to it, which is really cool. So it's not just a figure standing by itself. It comes with a base, and they're usually in some kind of action pose, which is cool. That's what kind of why I don't like pop figures, because most of them are just like standing there in that awkward pose. But this one, they do their own character rendition. They have their own team of artists that does an interpretation of the character. And we got Baby Groot on his head as well. It just looks really cool. That company does a fantastic job. And Loot Crate very obviously has a partnership with them because we see stuff in here all the time. And that one was exclusive. So that item alone makes the box totally worth it. Because those Q-Figs and Q-Pops usually go for at least 20 bucks anyway. Some of them go for a little higher, so that honestly, that one item made the box worth it. And I really liked it, and I think everyone else did too. And then a shirt, we got a Goonies shirt. They always mix it up. They sometimes do some weird choices, but again, once you get one good item, the rest is just kind of filler. It's just adding on and adding on. We always get double the value, sometimes triple. We got a coloring book in here, which usually I'm not into, but I've recently learned that those are very therapeutic. And I actually always liked coloring books as a kid, and I've realized that adults now do them because it's like a therapy thing. So they have these adult coloring books, and that's just the purpose of it. So, and it's just very simple patterns, and this one's a Star Wars one, which was kind of cool. So, you know, it's not for everyone, but it's something that was interesting that is definitely useful. And then we got some patches. The rest is just kind of filler stuff. We got a pin, which I really liked. We got Avatar pin. So I thought that was really cool too, and they have an alternate one. They always do a really good job on their pins. They always have. So yeah, honestly, I love the Q-Pop, Q-Fig, and everything else is just kind of bonus from there. But yeah, you really get more than double your value. You get everything worth it, and they have good partnerships. Not always the best choices every time, but you know, it's just hard to go wrong when the box is so cheap. So that's why it gets the #1 spot, and I always recommend that box to people, so feel free to check it out. Anyway, that was the countdown. That was all 7 boxes that I have. And you know, this changes every month. So that's why I do one every month, because all these boxes are, not all of them, a lot of them are bi-monthly, so we only see them every other month. That's all the Funko boxes, that's the Stanley box, and a lot of other ones are bi-monthly, so it kind of flops around every single month. But I hope that gives you a good idea of what to expect from these companies, and I hope this is helpful to you in some way. The whole point of this channel is to be helpful to other people, to get the discussion going in the community, so feel free to say anything you like in the comments, anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like to talk about. I read every single comment that's ever been posted, so feel free to jump in at any time. But like I said, I hope this was helpful to you in some way, and if there's something that can be more helpful, please let me know. And I'm broadening out to all types of videos now, so throw out any suggestion you like, and we'll talk about it in the comments. And also, feel free to jump in on the giveaway, and in the next monthly review, I'll announce the winner. So hopefully we won't have to wait as long. Maybe I'll keep out Comic Block, but we'll see. And I'll try to do more individual unboxings in the meantime. Other than that, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you out. Please like and support everything, and thank you all for watching. Love you all. Peace.